I believe the privilege is the fact that we, Government of Goa, have come to the conclusion that we have to immediately undertake a serious study of problems our coast is suffering from. It is a fact that various stretches of the beach, of our beaches, are being affected due to soil erosion. Recognizing this fact, we have undertaken various studies. We are undertaking various studies, and after all these studies are concluded, I'm sure we will come out with a document which will guide us over a period of time as to what steps we have to undertake. As of today, Government of Goa has spent crores and crores of rupees to attack this particular issue. Yes, to some extent we have been able to control this erosion. To some extent, we also have, to our credit, that the beaches have grown. There's been a lot of accretion, but we are still not satisfied, and that is why we've decided to study further. We have, as part of this study, a delegation from Government of Goa visited Netherlands. After considering a lot of agencies, institutes around the world, Government of Goa came to the conclusion that Deltatis could throw light into our various problems. Deltatis is therefore the agency that we selected and we propose to work with hand in hand. I would like to put on record our sincere appreciation to the gentlemen representing Deltatis for the mere fact that being early in the morning in Netherlands, they still agreed to attend this conference or workshop virtually. Unfortunately, due to circumstances beyond their control, they could not get their visas in time, and thus they are not in our midst. But I'm sure with agencies like NIO, Deltatis, National Center for Sustainable Coastal Management, Chennai, and various other authorities that we have contacted, we will be able to shortlist whatever steps we have to take to attack this particular issue. Under the leadership of our Chief Minister, Dr. Pramod Sawant, the government is very keen that we do our best to find a solution, do our best to try and resolve as much as we can to conclude on a strategy to attack beach erosion. Today's national workshop, I'm sure, is going to throw a lot of light, because besides authorities from Goa, besides authorities from Netherlands, we have a lot of authorities from various states around the country who I'm sure would like to share their experiences, from which we would be able to learn a lot of important facts. And jointly, keeping in mind all these circumstances, all their experiences, we would be able to come to a conclusion as to how best we would attack this issue, which is, as our director of NIO has just said, is alarming. Having said that, I would like to assure you all that Government of Goa is serious, and that Government of Goa will not hesitate to undertake whatever steps are necessary to try and attack this particular issue. Once again, I wish all the best to this workshop, and as I said, thank all of you all for having come here today. Thank you very much.
That this study on beach erosion takes place in whatever way it has to be. We had lots of difficulties in seeing to it that the agency which we had hired for the purpose of carrying out this study, that is Deltatis Institute from the Netherlands, they could not make it, but our minister went ahead and said, come what may, we'll do a VC and ensure that they come on board, and all the other coastal states which have come over here can also share their experiences in the field of, in the matter of erosion of the coastal stretches. Goa is a small state where it is known for its sun, sand, and the coast. We have been experiencing a lot of sea erosion in the past 1.5 decade, and since the past 2 years that we have been negotiating, we have been interacting with different people to see to it as to how we can enrich our beaches and nourish them again.
Root cause for the beach erosion, because if you have to see in terms of what are all the factors influencing the beach, sedimentation, aggression. Actually it is the sediment which is coming from rivers. You know all the rivers which Mandvi, Juari, means whatever river is coming, actually they are bringing a lot of sediment with them, and they are getting our beaches are getting replenished by those sediments. Then very important factor is sea level rise. But in addition to that, since heat capacity increasing of the ocean water is expanding, and because of that almost 60% of the sea level rise is because of expanding of that sea water. And so the level of increase is becoming more and more, and as we know the temperature is increasing, particularly Indian Ocean is more vulnerable because the geographical location we have, the way it is set up, because unlike Atlantic and Pacific, Indian Ocean has low latitude land boundary because it is not connected pole to pole. It is one side connected to the South Pole, but North Pole it is not connected. So the water which is coming, they are not able to dissipate the heat towards the south, so the heat is increasing. So tropical ocean, if you see globally, temperature increase globally is in the ocean in last say 6 to 7 decades is about 0.7 degrees centigrade. But the Indian Ocean increase is almost 1 degree centigrade. And the rate is very high, 0.15 degree per decade. Particularly in the Arabian Sea, this increase is much higher. It means it is going up to almost 0.2 degree per decade. So being in this part of the globe, I think the impact of the warming and the expansion and also the sea level rise is increasing. Above that, because this human intervention, you have seen the type of development we are having. We have done a huge work related to the sand mining and all those things. The sand which are supposed to replenish the beach, we are taking out from the rivers and putting in the building and all those things. So this impact has to be there. Means the sand which are supposed to replenish the beaches on long-term scale, if you take out, it is not able to go to there, it is going somewhere else, impact has to be there. But what I am telling that these are all bits and pieces people have done the work. What we need, a very systematic study before, and very systematic study in the sense that first of all we have to know what is happening and what are the root cause. Once we understand the root cause, because you see we have discussed about sea level rise, we have discussed about the sediment transport, but one thing which is also very important in long shore transport. So these are impacted by many of the coastal processes, many of the oceanographic processes, like the tidal influence, the currents, the waves, and some of the waves which suddenly one day, fine morning, you are sitting and suddenly huge wave is coming. There is nothing wrong in the local climate. Something is happening in the Southern Ocean, and that long short wave is coming from Southern Ocean to the Goa coast, and everything is inundated. So we have to make a very systematic study before we take any measure. Now when we are taking about to take the measures to protect our coastal area, I think very much again we have to go towards the nature. Because any man-made activity is going to means not sustainable. You have seen the example in Goa itself, the river Princess, once it got stuck near the Kalangut beach, the type of havoc it has created, the huge erosion was taking place. I remember means at least 500 meters of the coastal area, every day material was getting eroded. And people tried to put a lot of sandbags and huge geoengineering they did. Nothing was stopping that erosion. And once we understood that because it is because of River Princess, which is a small size ship, it got stuck, and that was obstructing the ocean current, the sediment supply, the coastal current. Once we understood through our study, that ship was removed, and then everything was solved. So what I mean that unless we have the basic understanding, unless we know how the things are getting replenished, how the things are getting controlled, I think any solution is not going to work. Whether we are going to put boulders and all, not only that, it will interfere with your ecosystem dynamics, ecosystem composition. Because if you are putting something rock and all, it is going to impact your biology and biodiversity, and that's what don't we want, because we have to. Our people are depending on fishery and all, so we have to take things in totality and do the thing.
And always we ponder, like, beach belongs to whom? There was a question in geomorphology that whether beach belongs to the land or beach belongs to the sea. And the answer by a very famous geomorphologist was, it belongs to the ocean. Ocean comes to rest. So I feel it doesn't only belong to ocean, but it belongs to all of us. And unless we intervene, because all the effects that we see of the erosion, which is the greatest problem, is because of anthropogenic forces. And if we have to restore it, we will again need human involvement.
Subscribe Prudent social media channel and press bell icon for latest notifications.